All right, so this morning we discussed how we prepare our teacher candidates in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in their first two clinical experiences, the ILAS 201 and ILAS 301 courses. And the reason we talked about that is because I was qualified to talk about that. Because it's the same for everybody, right? But this afternoon, we're going to get a little bit more discipline specific, and this is where I become qualified to speak only with the social studies people. Because I know what the social studies methods classes teach, I know what the social studies final clinical teaches. So you have, at your table, or at your big extended table, a representative from your corresponding program. So we have John for sciences, Amanda for math, we're going to refer to her as Dr. Long, Judy Picorni and Tom McCann for English, and then the four social studies people are stuck with me. So I envision this going in kind of two parts. So the first part is, and having said that, what I envision does not necessarily have to influence what you do. Feel free to ignore me and do whatever you feel is best. Talk with the program representative in your group about what that methods course or course is, because there are some programs that have multiple methods courses. What those entail, how they train their pre-service teachers to do the things that we talked about yesterday when we talked about good teaching. And English had that lovely boat picture, the metaphor. Sorry about that. So in what ways the programs are training their pre-service teachers to do those things in that methods class, in that final clinical. And then, once you all have an understanding of what those final experiences cover, we'd like you to discuss the ways that those things are both congruent and incongruent with your experiences as teachers of the discipline in the public schools. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. So, I had to differentiate a little bit because we work at different speeds. So some of you have already gotten started on number one, which is awesome. Some of you haven't, that's okay, you're not behind. If you've already started on number one, please move to number two, all right? Because we have two groups for English and two groups for science, science I'm actually gonna send you back to the library. And English, I'm going to send you across the hall so that you can all be together, all right? This is slide 18 on the presentation, which is on the drive, so if you want to pull it up when you're in your separate areas, that's fine. For those of you who are staying here, I'll leave it on the screen. So why don't we go ahead and break, I don't know, what do you think? Half an hour to discuss that, is that sufficient? Not long enough? We'll start with 30 minutes, and if we need more, I'll extend it, all right? Yes? Yes, I would like for groups to be prepared to share where the program and the schools are in alignment and where they are not. So like just a T-chart, you can write those on those big boards. I don't know if you want to bring the big board with you or just write it down on a piece of paper at the back. All right. We're going to start our Carol session now. I'm going to let the math magicians go first. One, because they were so kind as to show me the symbol for congruent and incongruent. Evidently, that little mustache is required. If you were in Spanish, that's a tilde, but evidently in math, it's mustache. So we're going to let the math magicians go first. They are just going to be talking about their experienced strengths and could be strongers working with candidates because they did not have a representative from the math program to speak with. So, yes. So we'll let the math magicians take it away. I'm sure they can turn it around. Would you like the microphone? No, okay.
All right. Back up.
Keep going.
Is this good? All right.
For my rating, I did not use 20.
So we didn't go into the congruent, not congruent stuff because we didn't
feel for what they do here. So we couldn't really get into that. So we focused on the strengths and weaknesses that we felt the students we had coming into us. So a lot of the strengths we had, the students are coming to us from a content background. They're very strong in their content. One of the weaknesses that kind of went with that, though, was the ability to explain to the kids on a lower level. So they had this strong content, but then to be able to relate it down to what 7th graders understood, what 8th graders understood, that was one of those skills that we felt was a little bit of a weakness that kind of went hand in hand with the strength. So another one was they exposed a variety of observation sites. You had middle school instruction, you would go to high school, and they did a pretty good job of getting them into all sorts of different scenarios so they could see the different levels. You could see what a middle school is like, you could see what a high school is like. And get those different levels so you can kind of figure out where you would fit in. Another strength would be the ability to create lesson plans. We felt that a lot of the kids who we've had come in and observe us or do practicums, they were strong in the ability to formulate what they wanted to do and come up with their ideas and be able to at least, deliver. For being first time in front of the classes, they had a good ability to come up with their ideas, what they wanted to do. And then they could fix it and change it, but they were able to do that. And then the last one, they're just passionate about teaching. The majority of the ones we've seen, they just had a real desire to get into the classroom and be passionate about what they want. And that was kind of one of those, was that a development here at NIU or just the individual students? No, but it was just a common theme. Other weaknesses from the program was creating a teacher toolbox. Another one we talked about for a while. Starting to create those resources that as teachers you start to formulate, like a letter home to the parents, like a general letter to say, hey, your kid's doing really well on these assignments. Things you don't really think about until you get into that experience, or if they started creating them here in college, then they at least have a format that they can say, hey, I'm going to tweak this because I've already done that. I've already kind of thought about this and I know this is something I'm going to do. I may not use it right away. And so that's one of those things that we thought were kind of a weakness. We could say, if you could do that in college and start getting that formulated, then you can adapt your own self.
I'm actually going to write that down. I think that's a good idea for a clinical assignment. Sorry. Good job. I interrupted.
And then last one was just integration of technology. That's a hard one because technology is always changing, and so it's hard to stay up on everything because each school also has different technology. Some schools are full of smart boards, some of them have iPads, some of them have, whatever. So it's hard to teach that, and know what school they're going to be in, what they're going to have there. Are they going to have smart boards in every classroom? Are they going to have iPads? Are they going to have clickers? Are they going to have, and that's a difficult one to manage, but it's one we've also noticed. That was all we got.
Wonderful, thank you. Our English group in the back, if you'd like to report, thank you.
Sure. That's it. This is what usually happens in class, and I make some joke about it, or kids laugh. So for the alignment, this can kind of function as some of the things that we saw as strengths as well. So we said that the university and people that come into the student teachers, pre-service teachers, they're prepared to work with a diverse population. In English, a lot of times students they understand the importance of multiculturalism and making sure that the students you see in your class, you have literature that relates, that they kind of see themselves in that literature. And then planning units with multiple foci and activities, so not just, hey, we're just going to write this, but if you want to show your demonstration of mastery of standards this way, or that way, being open to that idea. We also said that that student teachers and students who are in teacher preparation programs seem to be a lot more in tune with language centered around the Common Core state standards. I've noticed that as someone who hires and interviews teachers, that sometimes students who are going into their first year of teaching, they tend to be the candidates who are actually able to speak pretty intelligently about the Common Core. We thought that was a strength of teacher preparation programs at the university. So we have a couple things in the middle here which we felt like these are things that we and the schools struggle with and perhaps the universities struggle with. Interestingly enough, the strength that the math identified, we kind of identified that as perhaps something that pre-service teachers, student teachers are not really strong, and that's planning and planning in advance. So not falling into that planning day to day and, tomorrow what am I going to do with these students? So not really using that UBD, that backwards design planning to say, hey, by the end of the year, by the end of the semester, I need to get here, how am I going to do that? We also said that assessment is a very big struggle, and tying that assessment to the goals. And if you aren't planning and you haven't identified your standards and the objectives, then it gets very difficult to be able to create assessments that demonstrate mastery of those things. And we said, kind of going along, piggyback off of what Matt said, technology. So I might say, oh, I can't wait to get into this school that I'm going to student teach in and teach with this smart board, and then I go and like, oh, they have a chalkboard, and that's all they have in this classroom, or they have an old school overhead projector with transparency. That's not what I need an LCD projector. So that's something that is a struggle that we identified. Something that we felt, two things that were incongruent. I kind of already talked about it, assessment as an expression of the goals. One of the things we talked about is, our students in teacher prep programs, are they taught a particular framework for building curriculum and planning, like understanding by design? So that was something that we thought could be, hey, what more do we need to do? So that was one of our things here. And then just not only curriculum, not only assessments, but like just the day-to-day things that go on in a school. Like, maybe I'm expecting to walk into a class and teach 15-minute lessons, and then lo and behold, I meet with my cooperating teacher, and I find out that we're on a block schedule, and now I don't know how to plan for a 90-minute period. So just the intricacies of scheduling, things that come up during the day that you maybe aren't prepared for when you're in a teacher prep program. So I already mentioned, so what else can we do? The first one I mentioned, we also thought maybe not only just meeting with a cooperating teacher, but just having like quote unquote coffee talks where you meet with people in the district or from surrounding districts and just talk about the profession. A lot of professions do that, come together. I think that's something that's kind of sorely lacking in the education field, just having conversations, welcoming people and pre-service teachers in to talk about trends, talk about what goes on day to day. So to have those things set up district by district or school by school, and then making sure that that student teachers, pre-service teachers actually have the curriculum and units in hand well in advance of coming in for student teaching, because without that, we are setting them up for failure by saying, hey, in 2 weeks you're coming into this class and good luck with that one. Or I'll give you my syllabus that first day of class. So making sure that they have the opportunity to build out their lessons and develop, build curriculum and assessments well in advance of their coming in and actually taking over the class. Did I miss anything?
So ours, we have aligned, we said the third clinical experience being at the school where they're going to teach was very valuable because you can establish procedures and school policies with the school that you're going to be in, teaching, and then also start learning some student names, knowing the majority of them before actually starting to take over the classroom. For not aligned, you said it would be useful, at least in the sciences, to have 2 or more or multiple endorsements, for example, like biology and chemistry or something like that. And then we further talked about that with weaknesses. Earth and space science is something that's not really in the current program for NIU, and it's becoming more prominent than GSS, the Next Generation Science Standards, so maybe something to be added into the content area. But then in general, the strengths for that, we have a strong content base in terms of courses and things like that, and then a good middle school understanding for those students that go into middle school.
Social studies.
For social sciences, we thought they did a pretty good focus on using text evidence to support arguments. That's aligned with Common Core for EL. Emphasis on Common Core, we see that in their lesson planning and such as that. One thing that we had a lot of discussion about is we're suggesting that the candidates start looking at Danielson. Not that everybody's doing it, but I think the state's moving that way. Probably using some Danielson more with methods. Danielson, I think, we kind of decided it's a good way for most teaching candidates are really good students, and the first time they say, oh, you're not excellent, but you're proficient, they get a little flustered with that because they're used to being top of the class. And I think it's a way to start getting more reality. If you're going to get a job in a school district, you're not going to be excellent all the time. We saw that in my district. We've been on Danielson now for 5 years, and we have some teachers that are 35 years, or first time they're not excellent in their forms. And that was a huge sticking point. So we actually just spent time in school improvement of going to Danielson, just taking one part of one dimension and say, this is what excellent looks like. This is when you're exceeding that. And nobody, I think Zach said the best, is that's where you're at on a good day. Most of the time you're living in proficient, but you may hit excellent every now and then. And I think that's a mindset that, we're all talking about standard-based grading stuff, but colleges still aren't doing it. It's all about GPA, it's all about that A. And if you get a B for a lot of these kids, it's really bad. C is just like, you cannot tell your parents about. So I think kind of getting them ready for that by using what's going to be due. The other thing we suggested is looking at the school evaluation, perhaps getting the tool that your school, you're going to be teaching at, with the evaluation. And this could be helpful for professors because you may end up, if you have 8 candidates in your program, you may have 8 different school evaluations that really say, hey, these overlap here, these are different. This is what you're going to be evaluated on when you get a teaching job. So we kind of saw that. Using data for instruction. If you have to do that in your schools, and this is stuff for teachers, let alone student teachers, but just trying to use that data from assessments, pre-assessments, and for post-assessment, using that data to inform instruction is really difficult. And this was a great one, PLC experience, some kind of, and we kind of talked about that if you're a cohort now, that's kind of PLC, so let's start using that terminology maybe, including PLCs into that university language. Because I saw Kate, my student teacher last year, we were having a department meeting, which is kind of PLC, but we were having an argument against content versus skills management and social studies. And my student teacher had no problem debating this with very experienced teachers and did very well. So he had that experience. I don't know that if you said if I was interviewing, do you have PLC experience? Well, no, I don't know what it is. He has. Because he supported his arguments, he did it in a professional manner. So kind of just, and somebody said, yeah, when I interviewed for a new job, that's one thing they asked, what PLC experience. So starting using some of that terminology that's used. Strong for students is their work ethic. Most of us agree. There's always a couple outliers, but for the most part, they're early, they stay late, they're involved in after school activities. I don't mind everything I did, he was there for me. They're pretty inquisitive, they ask questions. They seem to be interested in learning more about it. And again, this is a repeat again. So for professors, your solid foundation in educational practices For us, it was a little bit different though, as far as strength of content, because social sciences covers many different fields. And that one we thought it's kind of a weakness because you may not get your placement in the field you want to teach. Unlike science, you don't have to be certified in every subject area of social sciences. You may have to teach economics. I had a student teacher that she signed up to teach world or U.S. history. That teacher got promoted. We hired a new teacher, couldn't teach that, had to teach world history with me, and struggled with it. And kept saying, I don't want to teach this. You're going to be certified in seven different subjects. You have to be able to teach them. At one point, our social studies department taught consumer economics. They took it out of business and moved it to us because, hey, you guys are economics. So you may have to teach something you have nothing to do about it. You have to then go study that material. The problem we've had is that they didn't want to do the research in that new stuff. They wanted, whatever their specialty was, that's what they wanted to teach. You got to understand that you may be asked in an interview, do you want to teach world geography? And I said, absolutely. But I will do it. But not the job. I would, yeah, that's the whole thing. So that's one of the, and that's a specific, I think, like science, you have to be certified in your particular subject, but they don't have to. So how to deal with that? You may have to teach something that's not your favorite. And then we also talk about backward design. It seems to be a huge issue that you really need to, where do you want them to end up with? And then, and I like the way you said it, get into that habit of, maybe some of you end up there as a first year teacher, it's like, I just want to get through the day, one thing I'll figure out what to do. But not get into that trap where at least you have an end goal, you know. So yeah, backward design